Artificial intelligence, it's here whether we like it or not.
Artificial intelligence.
Machine learning. Robots.
It's exciting and also very frightening.
Some of the biggest names in science and technology warn about the dangers of using artificial intelligence to make weapons.
I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
This is really like the scariest problem to me. That's where you need the regulators to come in and say, hey guys, you all need to pause and make sure this is safe.
Artificial intelligence has the potential to solve all of the most difficult problems of today and tomorrow.
AI will impact everything. There's nothing it won't touch.
It is a renaissance. It is a golden age.
Robots let people do more than they could by themselves.
What do we want to use AI for? To solve problems and to be more prosperous and to be healthy. That has to be its purpose.
With artificial intelligence, the computers start to learn, to think, to rewrite, to design their own programs.
AI can give us the ability to hear better, to see better, to give us new capacities that we never had before.
You can pair a human doctor plus an artificial intelligence system to create new drugs that humans in a lab might not have considered before.
You could see incredible expansion, and sounds very Star Trek, but believe me, that's gonna happen.
The question is, are we gonna be smart enough to make choices as to what we want as a society?
Scientists are creating AI today and setting the course for a new tomorrow. How AI changes our lives now and in the future is up to us.
We're at this fork in the road where if we get things right with AI, we can help life flourish like never before and really bring out the best of us.
This is AI, presented by IBM.
Many people think of intelligence as something mysterious. Intelligence is something mysterious that can only exist in biological organisms like humans.
Artificial intelligence has actually been part of our lives without us really even realizing.
Can you really elicit intelligent behavior by machines? Things like being able to learn, being able to reason.
There is no definition, this is artificial intelligence. It's really a set of practices and pieces that people put together is what is AI.
I think we should define it simply as the ability to accomplish complex goals. So artificial intelligence is simply intelligence that's not biological.
Artificial intelligence has many definitions, but at its core, when machines display the ability to see, hear, understand, and learn about the world like we do,
tell me more.
They're considered artificially intelligent.
I would hope you could tell I am a robot by the wires coming out of my body.
And understanding language is one of the biggest challenges in...
Hey, Jibo!
Hey, Cynthia.
From the Star Trek computer...
The next hatchway on your right.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Commander Riker.
...to Samantha and her, the machines of our sci-fi worlds communicate effortlessly with us.
What do I call you? Do you have a name?
Yes. Samantha.
Really? Where'd you get that name from?
I gave it to myself, actually.
But getting machines to understand our human language is one of the hardest tasks in artificial intelligence today. Languages are nuanced and complicated and present difficulties for computers that are used to fixed rules. Language can also be easily misinterpreted. Take the famous Groucho Marx quote.
One morning, I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got in my pajamas, I don't know.
To actually understand what is being said is really, really hard for the computer to do. What we try to solve through the field of natural language processing is to start cracking what does it mean when we use these words in sentences? How are sentences related to one another? Is this word close to this other word, and why? So that is a field that for us is so easy, is very hard for computers to do.
And now, here is the host of Jeopardy!
A little over 3 years ago, the folks at IBM came to us with a proposal that they considered to be the next grand challenge in computing. And that was designing a computer system that could understand the complexities of natural language well enough to compete against Jeopardy's best players.
One of the first major breakthroughs in natural language processing came when IBM developed an AI named Watson to take on the television game show Jeopardy! Watson didn't come out of the box ready for prime time.
Yell Barracuda, everybody says, huh? What? You yell shark, you've got a panic on our hands, is said in this film. Watson.
What is the 4th of July?
No. Max.
What is Jaws?
Thank you. 4th of July.
The IBM team took years developing, refining, and training the system, including months of practice matches on a mock set.
Founded in 1789, this Washington, D.C. school was the USA's first Catholic college.
Sorry, I'm stumped.
Oh.
To make Watson a contender, the IBM team armed the system with advanced math called algorithms and powerful AI technologies like machine learning. In February 2011, it was time for Watson's TV debut to show the world what it had learned.
Even a broken one of these on your wall is right twice a day.
Watson tries to understand the question by breaking it down into different parts of speech. It then does a broad sweep of the millions of books, articles, and documents that cover the wide variety of Jeopardy! Topics to come up with thousands of possible answers. Watson then collects, analyzes, and weighs evidence from all the material to narrow down these possibilities. Thousands of different algorithms work together to score the evidence for each possible answer. Then Watson ranks the remaining possibilities by its confidence in those answers. All this happens almost instantaneously.
Watson.
What is clock?
Clock is correct.
What is Christchurch?
Yep.
Who is Leo Tolstoy?
Yes.
Who is Henry VIII?
Yes.
What is narcolepsy?
You are right again. And with that, you move to $36,681. A big, big lead.
In a watershed moment, Watson took on and defeated the world's two top Jeopardy! Players.
Who is Stoker? I, for one, welcome our new computer overlord.
The team at IBM knew this technology could do far more than win game shows. Watson on Jeopardy! Was just the beginning. This technology could be unleashed on some of the world's most difficult problems by helping industries that are flooded with data.
If that was possible, what else could we do?
All the IBM researchers got an email asking us what should be the next grand challenge. And at some point, I came up with this notion of developing a machine that will be able to debate humans in a meaningful manner.
To push natural language understanding to an unprecedented level, IBM scientists in Tel Aviv, Israel, are creating an AI system that can help us make decisions through the field of debate. This team has never before attempted to build an AI system so complex.
When you make decisions, you're probably debating about something, right? So a computer system that can actually quickly read millions of articles and then pinpoint what's pro and what's con is going to help you make decisions.
The history of debating can be traced back to the ancient Greeks. It was often used to help solve complex ethical issues. In its simplest form, a proposition is posed by a moderator. Each side has an opening argument, a rebuttal, and a closing argument, all of which must be presented in an allotted time. A debater must have critical thinking skills and broad knowledge on a variety of topics. In a good debate, the opponents might also use humor to create a persuasive argument.
I will not make age an issue of this campaign to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
The range of potential construction of debate arguments is quite simply infinite. There are so many decisions that have to be done to construct a succinct argument that is original and that is able to be responsive to what an opponent presents, and then in the end to be able to net out all the arguments that you made as a closing arguments. All of this, when you peel down the layers, push the envelope of what computers can do on every single front.
The computer can read hundreds of millions of articles in seconds, but it needs to be able to pinpoint exactly the relevant 1,000 words or 2,000 words to debate humans. For a computer, it's very difficult to understand the question. And for humans, it's exactly the opposite. We typically understand the question very quickly. We simply don't have enough memory in order to pull out all the relevant answers.
We are so used as people to understand language, we're not even aware of how difficult this is. For us, it's very clear how to build an argument, how to connect things to each other. When we try to teach a computer to understand language, what we have are building blocks. We can teach a computer system to understand parts of speech. We can teach it to identify concepts, and by that perhaps identify similarities between concepts and then similarities between sentences. But you really have to tell the system, in a way, how to glue things together smartly.
For the last year and a half, the IBM debater team has held internal live debates to test the system's progress. The debates you are about to see have never been shown on television.
I hope that you will enjoy listening and watching full live debates between a fully automatic system and expert human debaters. So have fun.
Our motion for the first round, as you can see behind me, is whether or not we should legalize sports bettings.
All of these topics the debater system has not seen in the past and were not part of its training, and the only input is that topic.
On the side supporting legalization, we have our very own IBM debater, and on the side objecting to it, we have the lovely Chaya Eichler. So I give you IBM debater.
Greetings, Chaya. So nice to meet again. I hope that today I will do better than the last time I faced your convincing arguments, or at least that you will show some mercy.
Once debater is given a topic, it first tries to comprehend the meaning of that topic. Debater then scans hundreds of millions of articles to pick arguments that can be used to construct a 4-minute defense of its position. Debater does this by using unique natural language processing, machine learning, and reasoning techniques to understand the underlying themes of the debate and to arrange its arguments effectively and convincingly.
I would suggest we should legalize sports betting. Are we entitled to decide for people how to behave, or are people entitled to decide on their actions as they choose to? The purpose of legislation is not to define morality or teach ethics.
The question put to us by IBM Debater is, are we entitled to choose how other people behave? And the answer is yes. First of all, when the person's ability to make an informed, rational decision has been impaired. And second of all, when there's a concrete and measurable harm to others.
The debater needs to listen to the opponent for 4 minutes, not for a single sentence. The opponent is talking fast, making complex arguments, raising ethical considerations, and the system needs somehow to understand the gist of that and to come up with a proper response.
After presenting its initial argument, debater listens to a counter-argument and then builds its rebuttal based on what it's heard.
Chaya suggested that we have an obligation to protect our citizens. I would like to offer a different view. We oppose using the excuse of protecting citizens to justify the limiting of freedom and of lifestyle choices. Getting involved in someone else's decision-making when it concerns his own personal situation infringes on that person's rights.
The problem is that when it comes to betting, the only time you're making a rational choice is the first time you place a bet. And then people keep placing bets, but they're not making rational choices anymore because of the nature of addiction. And that's where a government has to step in and say, this is dangerous for you.
I think we all agree that sports betting has negative effects. It often involves exploiting the weak. But the best way to help the weak is not by telling them what not to do, but rather by changing the environment and conditions around them. Therefore, I believe the motion should stand.
After the debate, audience members vote to determine the winner.
So IBM Debater was able to increase support by 10%, and Chaya was able to increase support by 12%, nearly a tie.
The computer's getting better every time I debate against it, I think. The first time it felt sort of like I was much better than it, but it's getting better. It's learning how to used its points in order to convince people that it's right. I've been in debating for about 16 years now, since I was in high school. I coach debaters, but then you see a machine that's doing the same job and it's learning each time it gets better. I think it's magic what it's doing. It's incredible.
Although currently debating at a high school level, Project Debater stands to impact industries far beyond the debate podium.
We're moving from search to research, because when you search, you want to get documents relevant to your search topic. And we're trying to help you research a topic in the sense of going one layer deeper into that. So when you search a topic, you get a list, and when you research a topic in the sense that we're talking about, you get pro and con arguments for the topic. It can be applied to anything that has to do with decision making.
You can imagine all sorts of business decisions, or if you are a lawyer or a litigator and you're trying to construct an argument, every kind of decision where you want to have pro and con arguments, we would benefit from debating technologies.
This technology is really focused on questions that do not have a clear factual answer. Most of the questions that we encounter in life are questions like that. So I think we are touching at something which is really fundamental to our daily life, and therefore we anticipate it's going to have many different applications.